Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world. Coming up, as one of Britain's top business leaders is facing accusations of sexual harassment, the British government has been urged to take more steps to tackle the problem nationwide. Also, revelations that the Tokyo Medical University had doctored the test scores of female applicants to admit fewer women.
3, 4, 5, 6.
And in a country where rape is epidemic, South African schoolgirls are learning self-defence skills as little boys are being taught about the ugliness of violence against women. But first, and it's been more than a year since the Harvey Weinstein scandal first broke, and now the UK is having its own Me Too moment. As a result, the pressure is on the British government to do more in addressing sexual harassment after an inquiry found the behaviour was both routine and relentless in public places. Ellen Gainsford has the story.
It could be a wink, a comment or a catcall. Sexual harassment comes in many forms. For lots of British women and girls, it's just an unwelcome fact of life.
I was just walking in the street and there was these guys just catcalling, basic catcalling.
And did it bother you?
Oh, it bothered me, yeah. I was quite angered up inside, but in the end I didn't really do anything about it.
It makes me really self-conscious and it's really uncomfortable.
In the UK, a recent survey found that 66% of girls aged 14 to 21 years old have experienced unwanted sexual attention in public. This is an inquiry by the Women and Equality Select Committee, found harassment to be ingrained in British culture.
It is the most common form of violence against women and girls, and the damage is far-reaching, and yet most of it goes unreported.
The committee found that the British government hadn't been doing enough to tackle the problem, despite its pledge to eliminate sexual harassment by 2030. £100 million will now be ring-fenced to end violence against women and girls. In the wake of the Me Too movement, sparked by the scandal involving Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein, the issue of sexual harassment is no longer being swept under the carpet. Now, attention is turning to a high-profile figure in the UK. Retail billionaire Sir Philip Green is accused of sexual and racial harassment. The story broke after Labour politician Peter Hain used parliamentary privilege to name Green.
Someone intimately involved in the case of a powerful businessman using non-disclosure agreements and substantial payments to conceal the truth about serious and repeated sexual harassment, racist abuse and bullying, which is compulsively continuing. I feel it's my duty under parliamentary privilege to name Philip Green as the individual in question.
Newspapers had been blocked from publishing the piece due to non-disclosure agreements. Sir Philip Green has denied the allegations.
Moving on, and a Japanese medical university has been forced to admit that it systematically discriminated against female applicants. This on the basis that women tend to quit as doctors after starting families. Yet the scandal goes against the grain of Shinzo Abe's government's push to promote female employment while revealing a deeply held cultural bias against the employment of mothers, as our team on the ground found out.
A scandal that shook Japan and revealed a deep-seated discrimination against women. The most prestigious medical school in Japan, Tokyo Medical University, has admitted that since 2006, it has been secretly decreasing the marks scored by female candidates at its entrance exam. Behind this manipulation, a desire to restrict the number of women doctors, as they are likely to stop working when they become mothers.
It's sad that they cheated like that and changed the marks behind our backs. There are candidates that have sacrificed a lot for their future.
I've witnessed inequality ever since I started university. There are far fewer girls than boys in my class. It's strange. We cannot go on like this.
The university's former president and other high-ranking officials have been indicted. The medical school rejected our request for an interview, as did most of its students. In Japan, criticizing one's university can lead to negative repercussions. But one of the students finally accepted to speak to us anonymously.
Mostly, I feel anger. Anger towards the injustice done to female candidates. And it also puts us, men, in an embarrassing position. We've passed the entrance exam, joined the ranks of the university, but here we are now maybe taking the place of a woman who deserved to be here. So now it's like we owe these women something. Our university used to claim that diversity was their motto, but now we can't trust them anymore.
The Japanese government has launched an inquiry to look into similar hidden quotas against women in medical universities all over the country. We met with the official leading this investigation. He claims to be working day and night to cast light on this scandal.
All the other medical schools say they don't cheat. But in most of these universities, when we compare the results, male candidates have much better results than the female candidates. So it is strange. I've also had to take difficult exams, and I worked hard because I trusted the system. So I'd like to apologize to all of these women, not in the name of the ministry, but on my personal behalf.
Authorities are willing to make amends through financial compensation and even reintegrating the affected candidates. At the root of this injustice is the shortage of doctors in public hospitals. The long working hours make life difficult for female doctors when they become mothers. As a young doctor, Tomoko worked in a public hospital for several years before starting her own clinic.
We used to work day and night. My children were very small and it was very hard to work such long hours. I had many responsibilities and a lot of pressure.
Today, Tomoko has almost 60 patients per day, but her schedule is more flexible. In Japan's patriarchal society, it is a woman's job to take care of the children. Hiring a nanny is frowned upon. So once they become mothers, many Japanese women are forced to quit their jobs, especially in the most competitive sectors.
One of my friends was fired from the hospital. She had a first child, and when she told her boss about her desire to have a second one, she wasn't even pregnant. She was told that there was no need for her to come back to work. Men can work freely. I can continue to work because I have a certain amount of freedom. But because of housework and family responsibilities, it's true that it's difficult to always be 100% at the hospital.
This is exactly what led the medical school to impose these quotas. The traditionalists see it as an attempt to respond to a real problem.
I understand the hospital's point of view. It is a reality that many women leave their job when they become mothers. Imagine what would happen if in a hospital all the female doctors were pregnant at the same time and took their maternity leave at the same time.
Do women have to sacrifice their professional life to have children, or is it the state's job to find a solution? Since the bombshell investigation, several lawyers and activists have been working together to put pressure on the authorities.
It is not just the university's problem. This discrimination is at the very core of Japanese society. By fighting it, there is a possibility that we can change society.
Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has made women's employment one of the key issues of his program. But inequalities still prevail. Last year, Japan dropped to the 114th position in gender equality rankings.
Now to South Africa, where official statistics reveal more than 110 women were raped each day between April 2017 and March this year. As a result, one charity is not only offering self-defence classes to young girls, but also raising awareness among boys, as Nicholas Rushworth reports.
These Soweto schoolgirls are learning self-defence. And so far so good, they are picking it up.
Rape is sexual abuse because there's no one that has a right to touch you where you don't feel comfortable, you know. So yeah, I think that I must take out all the anger that I have from my stomach and just fight.
The goal is also to boost the girls' confidence.
The amazing thing about the Empowerment Through Self-Defense workshop is we're not actually focusing on the physical, but we're focusing on the empowerment. We're using the physical as a tool to strengthen the mind.
How to become a hero.
The training addresses gender stereotypes. Boys at another Soweto school are working on their emotions. One of the techniques used is mime.
So he's going to act out and you guess.
What we're trying to do is to teach boys empathy. And it's been incredible to see how young boys respond. Obviously, we don't want to teach them to fight because that's counterproductive. But what we do have to do is look at boys differently. Instead of looking at them as potential rapists, can't we look at them as potential active bystanders in stopping violence against women?
In South Africa, every day...
Parents are also in the mix. Debbie Stephen was raped twice and found telling her mother was the cause of more problems.
Somebody that they loved. I told her that I had been raped. She told me I was lying. So as a mom, why do you think she needed it to be a lie? So because she couldn't face the truth, she then put that onto me. And actually for me, that was devastating. So we need to think about this as mothers.
Action Break Silence has taught over 13,000 schoolchildren in South Africa. The approach has got a government stamp of approval, with the country's health minister asking the NGO to train 160 instructors.
And that's it for now. You can also connect with us via our Facebook page, that of course being France24.51%, or do send us a tweet at _51%. So until our next show, bye for now.